So a couple of notes from the broadcast desk for you as we get set to go tonight. We're about 32 minutes away from the future stars of racing here at Red Shores, overlooking the legendary Charlottetown Driving Park. We have 9 sets on the go tonight for qualifiers, and we'll be along with some of the action here for you. There will be a pause in the action after race 5. There'll be a short break there, 15 minutes or so, just to get the track regroomed and some more warm-ups for later on. So 9-pack coming your way tonight. Some information coming up on what's going to, some of these horses that are heading out to the gate tonight. So we'll be tracking along with that, and we'll have more for you as we get set to go live from Charlottetown. Our locations, in case you're getting some texts on that, Redshores.ca, our Red Shores live YouTube channel will also carry the action, and FM 98.5.
the first of 9 two-year-old qualifiers on the track. 1, Mr. Stanley, owned by Angus Burt, John Burt, Morris McCabe, and Gerard Ellsworth of Charlottetown. Stephen Shepard, trainer-driver. Number 2 is Prince Hal, home of the Next Generation Stable of Stratford. Earl Smith is the trainer. Brody McPhee drives. And number 3 is Stash It Away for owner Reg McPherson of Stratford, trainer Kevin McLean, driver Mark Campbell.
Okay, so the Future Stars of Racing underway here in Charlottetown tonight, and we want to welcome you. We're broadcasting live at Redshores.ca, FM 98.5, and Redshores YouTube live channel. So we're tracking along with some of the two-year-olds here. It's Lee Drake along with Peter McPhee and Vance Cameron in the booth tonight. Peter, nice to see the two-year-olds in action. It's always nice to see the Future Stars in action and track along with them tonight. And this is Mr. Stanley on our screen right now. Stephen Shepard is the trainer and the driver here tonight. Leads from post 1 in this field of 3, and actually, you know, raised by a guy that we know very well. It was honored in the PEI Standardbred Horse Owners Awards recently, Eldred Nicholson of North Wiltshire.
Yeah, sure was, Lee. And this guy here, Mr. Stanley, it's not going to happen for Eldred or me this year because the Leafs were put out in the first round, as you know.
I was going to say, no, I wasn't going to bring that up.
So Eldred and I'll keep going, Lee. We're pretty loyal, so we're hoping it happens soon. But for this guy, as you mentioned, he's a 2-year-old, as you mentioned, source of pride for Angus Burt, John Burt, Mo McCabe, and Gerard Ellsworth. So again, we know they're on Cowboy Logic as well. So they got Mr. Stanley here. And interesting enough, source of pride. I was looking him up, the stats the last couple of days. 120 lifetime starts. He's got 21 wins, 6 seconds, 15 thirds, over 300,000 in the bank for source of pride. And he took a lifetime mark of 50-4 at Yonkers as a 3-year-old. So he's had a nice career, source of pride. And again, we'll see what Mr. Stanley can do on the rail for Stephen Shepard.
So we see the Metro Home Building Center starting gate in the front of the grandstand, which is great because this gives them a little more extra time around behind the gate as they're getting set to go here tonight. Let's have a look at another one here. This is Stash It Away. I love the name here. Mark Campbell driving for trainer Kevin McLean, and they get to do their early lessons here tonight in the Future Stars with Stash It Away.
Yeah, Reg McPherson, and we know Reg has owned a lot of nice horses, including Woodmere Skyroller, and a lot of nice horses throughout the years. He's got Stash It Away here. You mentioned Mark's going to do the driving for Kevin McLean. Pang Shui is, of course, the sire of Stash It Away here. 11 lifetime wins, over 500,000 in the bank, and a record of 150-4. So we'll see how Stash It Away and Mark do here. Looks like they're getting close here, Lee.
Yeah, they're getting close. Wilfred Ookie Polton is the breeder. Prince Hal also in there for Brody McPhee and trainer Earl Smith. So they're getting set to go in behind the gate. And we'll let them do their thing. We'll let them track along here and get comfortable behind the starting gate. By the way, there's days here throughout the week that our race secretary and course starter Gerard Smith goes out and does many, schooling for a lot of these young horses. But an opportunity to see some of the Future Stars. We're getting close to the opener here tonight. Stay tuned.
And for those of you joining us on track and off track, the starter will take them around and release them. Very smart looking group, the first 3 that we see tonight here at the driving park. Ears up. They look like they're all business, and they haven't even started their career yet. Almost like aged horses. So they can put their noses right on that gate. First of 9. Mr. Stanley, Prince Hal, Stash It Away. They're approaching a start. There they go, off and pacing from the middle. That is Prince Hal. On the rail, Mr. Stanley. And joining them right there on the outside third is Stash It Away. As they move round the turn, they approach the initial eighth with Mr. Stanley along the rail, the leader. Coming to him on the outside is Stash It Away second. And right there in the pocket third is Prince Hal. So the quarter pole bound. And Mark Campbell will send Stash It Away on to the lead. He's a Peng Shui colt. He's the leader at the opening quarter. Mr. Stanley is second, racing third, drifting out on the front. That was Stash It Away. That's just a little green for these 2-year-olds as they round the turn. The opening quarter was up in 31 and 2. And now on the lead, that's Mr. Stanley for Stephen Shepard. The lead a couple. Prince Hal is second, and Stash It Away is now going to watch it all in third. They approach the midway point, led by Mr. Stanley. Second and tracking in the 2-hole is Prince Hal, and Stash It Away is racing from third as they move by that opening half mile. Mr. Stanley was the leader in 1:02 and 4, so consecutive 31 and 2 quarters as they move round the paddock turn, arriving at the 5/8, and Mr. Stanley gets him there. That 2-hole ride belongs to Prince Hal, and Stash It Away stalks from third. They're on the backstretch for the final time. 3/4 is the next station, and Mr. Stanley will arrive there with the lead. Prince Hal is second. Stash It Away is tipped to the outside from third. So the 3/4, that's now in the books, and they were there in 1:34 and 4. Approaching the 7/8, Mr. Stanley. Stash It Away in the outside second, and right there third is Prince Hal, and they're in the home stretch for the first time of their career, led by Mr. Stanley. Stash It Away in the outside. Prince Hal towards the rail. Coming to the wire next. Stash It Away in the outside in the final stride for Campbell. Mr. Stanley second. Prince Hal will finish third. Time for the mile in 2:04 and 1. 29 and 2 closing quarter.
Well, we love to see these future stars of racing in action here tonight, Pete. And, well, there you have it. You get a look at Mr. Stanley, who did a lot of the road work here, but it was Stash It Away and Mark Campbell who took a joint to the front there, and then they came back on here to win it. Nice, impressive.
Yeah, again, Lee, they're so young, and as you mentioned, he made an early move, got to the front, and as Van said, just drifted out a little bit. So Mark took him back, wasn't really panicking, allowed Stephen to cut the race, 31 and 2. 1:02 and 4, very comfortable, but again, they're looking good out there for their first time around here. 1:34 and 4, and then you can see here now they're sprinting at the end of it here now. The one in the middle there, Mr. Stanley, trying to fend off Stash It Away, who is coming from the back here and going to get up late in the final strides to get it all. And Vance said, Lee, 29 and 2 at the end of it. They look pretty good.
Yeah, it was a nice touch there. Now the winner's coming back to the winner's circle here tonight. Let me tell you about this. We want to thank many of the folks that are going to be joining us here tonight, especially in the winner's circle. Prize donors for Future Stars of Racing, Prince Edward Island Harness Racing Industry Association, Greenhawk, Clarence Farm Services, and Redshores. So when they arrive in the winner's circle, there's a gift pack for the ownership connections there tonight from those sponsors. We'll also do some other draws here tonight as well for all of those owners who participated and entered their horses. We'll have some draws on that as well.
Stash It Away arriving at the first race qualifying event winner's circle. Bay Pacing Colt 2 by Peng Shui off the Ponderosa Dam All-American Napa. Owned by Reg McPherson of Stratford. The breeder was Wilford Fulton of Hazelbrook. Kevin McLean does the training, and in those Mark Campbell hands. A winner in 2:04 and 1/5. Stash It Away.
I should also mention what's in those buckets. We have the feed bucket, a halter, along with there some horse treats from Greenhawk as well, and 2 top of the park gift cards for the owner as well. So a nice little gift pack that's going out to the winners here tonight, and the future stars of racing. All 9 of them will get races. Will get those winners.
Here's the official results now in the first. Mr. Stanley was second, Prince Hal third, and Stash It Away the winner, 31-2, 102-4, 134-4, and the mile 204-1. From the top, 231.
So we'll keep an eye on the trotters. They're coming out next, the 2-year-old trotters. So we'll keep an eye on the screen there for them coming out of the paddock here tonight. You're with Lee Drake along with Peter McPhee at the desk tonight. Just got a note from Arnold Hagen, which really sums it up. Boy, it's really exciting to see the future stars of racing out on the racetrack, Peter, that's for sure. We have another big event. We have an event here tonight, another big event tomorrow night. Sold out, the Wally Hennessy book launch. We've been talking about this for weeks, but it's finally here, and it's going to be quite an event tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Lee, right here in the top of the park, as you mentioned. We'll have Wally virtual. And again, we all remember him when we had him on VTR. Lee, we talked about so many of his highlights in his career. We'll get to talk to him again tomorrow. I know you're co-hosting as well tomorrow night. Sold out event, Lee, and looking forward to seeing Wally and everybody up here at the top of the park.
Yeah, we have other virtual events guests, including John Campbell, also Ron Waples, and Billy O'Donnell will be joining us as well.
That's the superstars of superstars right there, Lee.
Yeah, and Jimmy Tactor, we're going to get an opportunity. So yeah, it's going to be fun for sure. So we're looking forward to it. The trotters will be on the track here next. There is a brief break after the 5th here. Just let the guys warm up here, and the guys and girls warm up a little bit more and do some work on the track. So Future Stars of Racing continues with more in a minute.
Now we'll get a look at some 2-year-old trotters in the second qualifier. On the track, number 1, I Look Like Bumps. Owned by Daryl Neal of Winslow. Daryl does the training, the driving, also the breeder. Number 2 is Ocean View Cicero, owned by Carl Bagnall of Stratford. Carl does the training. bred by Bill Rollison of Belfast. Stephen Shepard drives. Number 3, Windermere on Track, owned by Boyd McDonald Produce Limited from Crapo. Windermere Farms, North Wiltshire, the breeder. Stacy Lund does the training. Gary Chappell does the driving. Number 4 is Pay Up Jack, owned by Wade Piccone of Stanchill, who is also the breeder, trained and driven by Kenny Arsenault. Back to Lee Drake and Peter McPhee with a look at this weekend's schedule of events, including Red Shores tailgate parties. And gentlemen, that's a big success in Prince County.
Yeah, you know what? Certainly is. It's been a long time coming, too, because we talked about it 2 years ago. But anyway, we're really excited with it, and it did kick off. And this was local breweries. We're showcasing local breweries, Peter. Folks coming out to the tarmac that night to get this cool package, the Red Shores tailgate package, and it's set to go. And it's part of that Friday night packs that we had in Summerside.
Yeah, I think the Friday nights are going over well, like you say, Lee. And again, that package, $5 racing voucher, tailgate branded program, tailgate branded hat, drink sample ticket, and the grand prize entry ballot. So again, Lee, it's a great bargain. And again, I know we've been giving out some prizes here on Saturdays for people to attend the races on the following Friday. I think that's been going over very well.
Yeah, it is. So let's have a look at the schedule for this weekend. We're back at it Thursday night here in Charlottetown, and of course Saturday, and we're looking forward to another action-packed weekend.
Yeah, again, Lee, we're here tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Thursday night, then Friday night in Summerside, and back here Saturday night at 6. So Lee, a full weekend of racing across the island.
So let's go back out to the track here. The 2-year-olds, future stars of racers. These are qualifiers tonight, folks. And, you know, I look like bumps. The trotters that we're at right now leaves from post 1 tonight for Daryl Neal, who does it all. He's the owner, the trainer, the breeder, and the driver tonight. He's going to handle off the rail here tonight, Pete.
You know what, Lee? There's 3 of them in here by Armbro Barrister, and what a great sire. I was looking up some of his stats. 266 lifetime starts for Armbro Barrister, 55 wins and over $1 million in earnings, 153-1 his lifetime record at Pocono when he was 5 years old. So again, 3 of them in here by Armbro Barrister. He's a great sire, including I Look Like Bumps here, as you mentioned, for Daryl Neal, who does it all, and will leave from post 1 tonight.
All right, there's another future star of racing from the Kenny Arsenault barn here tonight. This is Pay Up Jack. He's a 2-year-old colt by Angus Hall, and our good friend Wade McConey is the owner and the breeder here at Pay Up Jack, and Arsenault's going to take him from post 4 tonight.
Yeah, and again, great to see Wade back in with the young horses. He's also had a nice trotter in Ontario, a nice horse in Ontario, loved by the masses, Lee. So again, Wade's been doing well of late, and he's got Pay Up Jack here again by Angus Hall. Angus Hall, 8 career wins, over $830,000 in the bank, and 154-3. The record at the Meadowlands is the 3-year-old. So again, another great sire here, and we'll see how Pay Up Jack does with Kenny Arsenault, who's developed a lot of great young horses.
All right, there's a look at Gary Chappell. He's had a lot of horses over the years, future stars of racing. He's been a part of these 2-year-olds before. For Stacy Lund here today, and Chappell will hold on to Windermere on Track here. So they're getting set to go.
Yeah, and again, as you mentioned, Gary's been around a long time. He won a lot of races, developed a lot of horses, and we'll see how he does here. As you mentioned, Stacey Lund is the trainer. He's owned by Boyd McDonald, Lee, a good friend of ours. We'll see how Boyd's horse does here in the 2-year-old qualifier.
Yeah, Windermere Farms, North Wiltshire is the breeder, and as Vance mentioned a little earlier, they picked them up on the front here, and they'll let them cruise behind the gate a little bit here, and we'll get them set up. They'll take them around the backstretch and let them go. Vance Cameron will be standing by with the next call.
And guys, the Maritimes are going to miss the sire Armbro Barrister. Man, he put the trot breed right on the map when he was here. World record holder, over $1 million. Wow, we certainly do miss him in the sires. So the 4 2-year-old trotters, and once again, they're just impressive. I Look Like Bumps for Daryl Neal. Ocean View, Cicero, and Stephen Shepard. Windermere on Track has Gary Chappell. Pay Up Jack and Kenny Arsenault. 2-year-old trotters, top of the stretch. They're on gate and on the gate. Post time. There they go, off and trotting, and coming from the outside is Pay Up Jack. Between horses, Windermere on track. Third one into the turn, I Look Like Bumps. Off stride in the early going was Ocean View Cicero. So they trot round the turn, arriving at that opening eighth, and a bit of a match race going on up front. To the outside, the leader is Pay Up Jack. In line to Kenny Arsenault, they're going to clear. Racing from second is Windermere on track. Back into third, I Look Like Bumps. And back down, trotting the trailer fourth, Ocean View Cicero. So these 2-year-old trotters, they get strung out off an opening quarter mile. And on the lead at the front panel was Pay Up Jack. And he was there in 32 and 4. Tracking along in second, Windermere on track. Well off the leaders in third, I Look Like Bumps. And then the trailer fourth is Ocean View Cicero. So through the stretch, they approach the opening half mile next. And that's Pay Up Jack in line to Kenny Arsenault, the Angus Hall Colt from the Northern Bailey Dam. Pay me now, pay me later. And she had an incredible Sire Stakes career here on the East Coast. Pay Up Jack, the midway point leader in 104 and 4. Windermere on track is second. I Look Like Bumps continues third with Ocean View Cicero. He's the trailer down to 3/8 of a mile left to go, and a 2-length advantage for Jack and Kenny as they go to 3/4. Windermere on track races from second. I Look Like Bumps is third, and Ocean View Cicero is the trailer. They're arriving at 3/4, and Pay Up Jack continues to front the field, and it's getting late. Racing second and 2.5 off the leader. That's Windermere on track. They're over to the 3/4 in 1:38 and 3 with an 1/8 of a mile left to trot. And they're trotting a little up front now as they turn on home, and that's Pay Up Jack, the leader, and he's turning it on. Second is Windermere on track. I Look Like Bumps and Ocean View Cicero as they land on the line. That's Pay Up Jack in line to Kenny Arsenault. Windermere on track is second with I Look Like Bumps third, and then it's Ocean View Cicero. And the 2-year-old trotters, they trot a mile in 2:09 and 3.
So here you go, the Trotters in action here tonight. And Pay Up Jack and Kenny Arsenault here, Peter. Boy, just their mind on their business the whole mile.
Yeah, exactly, Lee. There was one breaker early, and that was unfortunate, but those happen to early trotters here. Lee, Ocean View Cicero went in the run. But Gary and Kenny, a little battle to the quarter. Kenny cleared up with Pay Up Jack and really controlled it the whole way. They were over there 32 and 4. He was the leader past the half, up 3/4, 138 and 3. And he starts to separate a little bit down the stretch, and is a winner here, 2-9 and 3. Pay Up Jack for Kenny Arsenault. Wade Piccone, Windermere on track is second, and I Look Like Bumps is third here in race number 2.
Here's Pay Up Jack arriving at the second qualifying winner's circle. Trotting Bay Colt 2 by Angus Hall off the Northern Bailey Dam. Pay me now, pay me later. Owned, and the breeder is Wade Piccone of Stanchel. The trainer and the driver is Kenny Arsenault, and the colt looked impressive. Winner in 2:09 and 3. Now the official results from the second qualifier. I Look Like Bumps third. Ocean View Cicero fourth. Windermere on Track was second. Pay Up Jack the winner. Fractions 32 and 4, 104 and 4, 138 and 3, and the mile was 209 and 3. In review, 3, 4, 2, 1.
Okay, so the next qualifier is coming up here. We get the 2-year-old fillies lined up in race number 3 at the Future Stars of Racing, and we had a little bit of rain earlier today, Peter, but actually, you know, the weather forecast has turned around for us. Beautiful night out there, and for those folks that are tuned in tonight, we want to welcome you to the Future Stars of Racing. Nice to see the action here, but when we get back to it again, our HPI PI promotion, it's going to come to an end here by the end of this month. It's hard to believe we're almost through June.
Yeah, and it's unbelievably, really, just to quickly to sum it up here, PEI players who spend $150 or more on our tracks at Charlottetown, Summerside until July 1st are going to receive a 3% cash back and qualify for a chance to win that $500 gift card to a local business. You can play or sign up for free, hpibet.com. You can get more information here, of course, at Redshores.ca, and a lot of people have signed up, I know.
Yeah, they have. I took my glasses off and I couldn't see what I was doing next. But so I'm going to make a draw here. So the first couple of races are out of the way, and the owners that put their horses in tonight to participate, there'll be an opportunity to win some prizes there as well, and that includes Clarence Farm Services Limited. We'll be making a draw for those and some other prizes along the way here.
Our third qualifier tonight features the 2-year-old filly Pacers. They're on parade. Number 1 is How My Claudia, owned by Matty Myers of Gaspereau and Robin Lajeunesse of Summerside, trained by Lenny Myers. Mark Campbell steers. 2 is Pangdemonium, owned by ICU Stable of Charlottetown. Kenny Arsenault, training and driving. 3 is Woodmere Jazz for owner Reg McPherson of Stratford. Kevin McLean is the trainer, Jill Sperrio. The 1 filly Hamac Claudia, bred by Hamac Farms Limited of North Wiltshire. 2 Pangdemonium, bred by Gary McGuigan of Charlottetown. And Woodmere Jazz, bred by the Woodmere Farms of Marshfield. These are 2-year-old filly pacers. And at this time, we'd like to thank our prize donors for the future stars of racing. The Prince Edward Island Harness Racing Industry Association, Greenhawk, Clarence Farm Services Limited, and Redshores. And let's return to Lee Drake and Peter McPhee.
All right, well, thanks very much, Vance. And yeah, some prize draws there. We have our first prize draw winner tonight. This is from Clarence Farm Services Limited, and that's going out to Prince Hal, the ownership connections there of Next Generation Stable of Stratford. So that'll be waiting for you in the race office. We'll pull these down a little later. We'll leave them there, and you can drop by and see Tara and Kathy the next few days to pick those prizes up. We'll do another draw in just a minute here, Peter, as well. But nice to see some information coming in, and the folks that couldn't make it to the track tonight are actually to be able to tune in here. And as we get a look at the future stars tonight.
Yeah, it's super lead. Just to think that, again, giving the prizes out to the owners who are putting the horses out on the track. We see them in the winner's circle as well. Nice to see Wade Piccone last time out there. So, again, just great to see these 2-year-olds in action, certainly giving us promise for what's ahead. And it's going to be some great racing throughout the season.
Love this name, Pangdemonium here. Kenny Arsenault back out on the track here after winning the last one with a trotter, Pay Up Jack. So he's back in this time, leaves in the middle of the pack here with Kenny Arsenault. Gary McGuigan is the breeder here for the ICU stable out of Charlottetown, and another one from the Arsenault barn.
Yeah, and again, as we mentioned, Kenny's developed so many over the years. Lee certainly knows what he's doing when he trains these horses down. He won with Pay Up Jack, as you mentioned last time. He's got Pangdemonium here for the ICU stable of Charlottetown. Gary McGuigan, you mentioned, is the breeder, and this horse by Pang Shui. And we talked about Pang Shui a little bit earlier on, but again, 11 wins from 64 lifetime starts, over 500,000 for Pang Shui, and 150 and for the record at the Meadows. So again, we'll see how this one does. Pangdemonium for Kenny, leaving from post 2 in here.
Reg McPherson already had a winner out earlier, and he's got Woodmere Jazz here. Jill Sperrio will handle this 2-year-old filly here, and Barrio and Kevin McLean teaming up as they get going in behind the gate.
Yeah, and this is kind of cool here, Lee. This filly by Roll With It Harry, and we know the horse very well. 149 lifetime starts, 26 wins, over 600,000 in the bank for Roll With It Harry, 150 and 1 the record. And Lee, we've seen Roll With It Harry here racing the last couple of years. Won in Charlottetown at 56 and 2. Went to Summerside. I remember that night, gate to wire up there, 55 and 2. And Lee, Harness the Hope with Roll With It Harry has done very well.
Yeah, it certainly has, Peter, and I know that there's more information coming out with Roll With It Harry Racing. We've had some information on that, had an opportunity to meet with Bruce and Bronwyn and some others, but we'll want to be able to put that on the street very soon about Roll With It Harry Racing, how it's going to continue on doing some great things for the community. And speaking of Harness the Hope, we should mention that it's in 2 locations, not only here in Charlottetown, but it will be on site July 4th in Summerside as we launch the Harness the Hope area there. So a little equipment adjustment happening right now on Woodmere Jazz as they're getting set to go behind the gate, and the starting gate will take them for a little piece around the track here, of course, and then release them in the stretch. So Future Stars of Racing continues live from Redshores.
So the 2-year-old filly pacers here in the third race Future Stars qualifying night at the driving park in Charlottetown. Lining up on the gate. How My Claudia is the source of pride filly off the Largo Dam Burdell with Mark Campbell. Pangdemonium, she's 2 by Peng Shui off the Real Desire Dam, Miss Real Mayo with Kenny Arsenault. And the 3 is Woodmere Jazz, the Roll With It Harry filly off the Western Paradise Dam Shadow Dancer, and Gilles Barrio. 3 2-year-old filly pacers about to get their future started on this Tuesday night at Charlottetown. Top of the stretch. Here they come. There they go, off and pacing, and from the outside, Woodmere Jazz. Closer to the rail is Pangdemonium, and the third one into the turn, that'll be Halmac Claudia. So the 2-year-old filly pacers swing around the paddock turn, approaching the initial 8th, and Kenny Arsenault leads with Pangdemonium. Going to the rail second is Woodmere Jazz, and to get away third, that is Halmac Claudia. So the fillies race the backstretch for the first time, arriving next at the opening quarter. 2-length advantage for Pangdemonium. Racing from second is Woodmere Jazz, then the trailer third, Halmac Claudia. They're over to the quarter in 32 and a 1/5. Racing around the turn, approaching the 3/8, Pangdemonium, the fraction setter. Tracking along second is Woodmere Jazz, and Halmac Claudia watches it all third as the trio of fillies move through the stretch, approaching the midway point, led by Pangdemonium. She's halfway home. Racing from second is Woodmere Jazz, and the trailer third, that is Halmac Claudia. They were at the half in 1:02 and 4, so they step it up to 30 and 3 in the second quarter. Moving around the paddock turn with a shade more than 3/8 to go. On the point, Pangdemonium continuing to lead it. Second is Woodmere Jazz. Halmac Claudia are races third as they go halfway up the backstretch for the final time, approaching the 3/4, and Pangdemonium continues to lead it. Tracking along in the 2-hole is Woodmere Jazz, third towards the rail, Halmac Claudia. So the 2-year-old fillies were over to 3/4 in 1:34 and 1. They're down to an 1/8 to go. Oh, and they're pacing a little now as they turn for home. At the rail, that is Pangdemonium. Woodmere Jazz is right alongside her late. Halmac Claudia third as the fillies come to the wire. Woodmere Jazz gets up for Barrio. Second is Pangdemonium, and Halmac Claudia will finish third. The 2-year-old filly pacers stop the clock in 2:02 and 4. 28-3. They were pacing some on the end of it.
Well, the 2-year-old fillies in action here tonight on this Tuesday night, Peter, and it was Pangdemonium who did all the road work here, laying down the fractions here, but Woodmere Jazz came out of that 2-hole and just sprinted right by.
Oh, wow, what a performance here tonight. They both look real good, Lee, on the front end here. As you mentioned, Pangdemonium got there 32 and 1, still the boss past the half, 1:02 and 4. Jill's just sitting in the 2-hole, and they raced 3/4, 1:34 and 1, and then they sat down for a sprint, as you said, and Jill angles out late here with Woodmere Jazz, and she is full of pace on the end of this, and she's going to hit the wire here first tonight, 2:02 and 4, and how about the last quarter, 28 and 3. She really stepped it up here at the end and looked real good finishing up here to get the win. Woodmere Jazz wins, Pangdemonium second, Halmac Claudia third. 3-2-1 in the third at Red Shores.
Woodmere Jazz arriving at the third race qualifying section winner's circle. Bay Pacing filly, 2 by Roll With It, Harry. From the Western Paradise Dam Shadow Dancer, owned by Reg McPherson of Stratford, trained by Kevin McLean. Jill Sperrio is in the driver's seat, pacing a closing quarter 28-3 for a mile and 2-0, 2 and 4. That's Woodmere Jazz in the future stars of racing. Here's the official results in the third. Hama Claudia finished third. Pandemonium was second. Woodmere Jazz the winner. Fractions went 32 and 1, 102 and 4, 134 and 1, and the mile time 202 and 4. From the top, it's 3-2-1.
So a couple of housekeeping items here. As we mentioned a little earlier on the program, so Future Stars of Racing, we really appreciate the support tonight in getting the horses in and get them started. Well, it's Prince of Rhode Island Harness Racing Industry Association, those prize donors for tonight. Greenhawk, we want to thank you for your continued support, and Clarence Farm Services Limited, along with Red Shores. So those are the winners. When you're coming back to the winner circle tonight, you get the bucket, the halter, the horse treats, and the top of the park certificate for the winning connections. Now, on top of that, we also have some other draws for those of you who just entered your horses here tonight, and we have 2 more. Daryl Neal, who was aboard I Look Like Bumps, who was also the owner there, picks up the prize from race number 2. That's a gift certificate from Clarence Farm Services Limited. Congratulations to you. And the winning connections along, that's the ICU stable with Pandemonium there. Also pick up a prize draw from Clarence Farm Services Limited. So congratulations to you. We'll put these winning lists together, get them in the race office, and you can drop by at a later date and pick them up.
Two-year-old pacing colts and geldings for our 4th qualifier on this night. They're on post parade. Woodmere Gaelic number 1 over the Next Generation Stable Stratford, bred by Woodmere Farms of Marshfield, trained by Earl Smith. The drive goes to Brody McPhee. Check Your Source number 2. Home by Jamie Whalen and Vernon Bridge. Jamie also the breeder. Trained and driven by Mike McGuigan. Three is J.J. Tommy, owned by James Perot Stratford, bred by Jamie McKinley of Clyde River, Kenny Arsenault training and driving. 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings. We're on qualifier number 4. Red Shores is announcing changes to the ship-in area starting this Thursday. And with those details are Lee Drake and Peter McPhee.
Yeah, well, it's coming up June 24th. First of all, I want to say this. I have the opportunity. We all know how challenging it's been over the last year or so, and I'm sure everyone is finished with COVID and the restrictions. I understand that. But as you know, Peter, we work in a lot of different areas, a lot of events that's going on, and it's just one of those things that we have to follow the protocols. But in any case, I think for the most part, They're all working well. Everyone's working hard on it, and we're hoping to get everybody traveling in around Atlantic Canada. That's really important.
Yeah, for sure, Lee. And again, the 27th, we're hoping that people are able to, as you mentioned, travel past the borders from Atlantic Canada. We'll get the horses racing, and but everybody's been doing a great job, Lee. We just want to continue racing. That's the main thing.
That's the main thing. So effective June 24th, now these are going to be posted on the industry sites coming up, granted access to the ship-in barn for racing qualifying events at least 10 years of age, and be on the essential worker list is submitted to the race office by the responsible trainer. And the list of essential people needs to be the race office before the day of the race. So Thursday's list is made on Wednesday and Saturday's list is made on Friday. And those trainers are responsible to provide the names of their grooms to ensure contact tracing. So that's very important. It is a change that we're making to the ship in, and that'll kick into gear on Thursday. Can't say much more about contact tracing and how important it is. We know how important that is, but we're all trying to work together here to make it work, Peter. There's a look at Kenny Arstow back on the track here. His barn is busy tonight with the future stars of racing. This is JJ Tommy. Leaves from post 3 here tonight. James Perot of Stratford. Jamie McKinley is the breeder coming in here tonight. And JJ Tommy, a 2-year-old colt that's coming into the action here tonight, gets Kenny Arstow back in action with a barn that's very busy tonight, Peter.
Yeah, he's a nice-looking horse, Lee. You can see here now he's getting set to go here. He's by Tobago Keys. You mentioned him. 155 lifetime starts, 31 wins for Tobago Keys, over 800,000 in lifetime earnings. He took a mark of 150 at Pocono as a 6-year-old, so again, he was a real nice horse. And again, he's got J.J. Tommy here for Kenny Arstow and James Perot of Stratford. You mentioned Jamie McKinley. We know him well, Lee. He's the breeder here, and Kenny's the trainer as well. So we'll see how J.J. Tommy does from post number 3 tonight.
This is Woodmere Gaelic now on your screen, and coming in for Brodie McPhee here tonight. Earl Smith, who's also got a busy barn tonight and has developed so many great horses over the years. This guy by Stonebridge Terror coming in for the Next Generation stable at Stratford. You
know what, Lee? We remember Stonebridge Terror. I mean, what a great horse he was. 16 lifetime wins in the Molson Pace in 2010. I was looking him up today. Won the Westfold again. Stonebridge Terror 1, 2, 3. Stonebridge Terror was third, beaten half a length. He raced the Gold Cup in Saucy. Remember, he was second to Part Shark in 210, and then he came back in 212, and he was fourth to 18. So we know Stonebridge Terror very well.
Woodmere Farms, Marshfield sending out here off the rail, and there's a look at Check Your Source. Michael McGuigan training and driving here tonight. Another by Source of Pride is in action for Jamie Whalen of Vernon Bridge, and is also the breeder. So they're getting in behind the starting gate. For those of you who are just tuning in, we did get a couple of questions on it. Yeah, you're right. We're picking them up in front of the grandstand tonight by the Metro Home Building Center starting gate, and they'll get an opportunity to get behind it. And that's just a little more experience behind the gate, eh, Vance?
Certainly got it right, and starter Jeff McDonald doing a fine job with these babies here on this Tuesday night. Lee, and we get a look at qualifier number 4 for the future stars. These are colts and geldings. They almost look like aged horses. I watched Earl Smith warm the one horse up with the 4 white feet. Looks like he's got real good size. Wears no boots. Wow. Going to get a look at the 4. It's Woodmere Gaelic with Brodie McPhee. Check Your Source, Mike McGuigan. And Kenny Arstow's outside from 3 with J.J. Tommy. 2-year-old facing colts and geldings. Qualifier number 4. Top of the stretch. Here they come. Right on the gate. There they go, off and pacing to a perfect start. Towards the rail, that is Woodmere Gaelic, the leader. Second is Check Your Source, and the third one to the turn, that'll be J.J. Tommy. So as they arrive at the opening 8, the Stonebridge Terror gelding. Woodmere Gaelic for Brodie McPhee on the early lead. Tucked away second, that is Check Your Source, a source of pride. And away in third, J.J. Tommy, the Tobago Keys colt, as they race the backstretch, racing to the opening quarter mile, and Woodmere Gaelic is in control. Round the turn in second is Check Your Source, and J.J. Tommy sticks right with the leaders in third. They roll to the quarter in 32 and 4. They come off the turn, straighten down the stretch. They have the half mile in their sights now, and it's Woodmere Gaelic to bring them to the midway point. Check Your Source races from second, and to contend third is J.J. Tommy as they arrive at that opening half mile. Woodmere Gaelic to get them there. Check Your Source second, J.J. Tommy third. They're at the half in 103 and 1. They step it up 30 and 2 in the second quarter. They move round the paddock turn. They're chasing Woodmere Gaelic on past the 5-8. Check Your Source continues second with J.J. Tommy in third. They're going to 3/4 next, and they get them there. It's Woodmere Gaelic. The lead down to a length. Racing from second is Check Your Source, J.J. Tommy. Right there in third. They arrived at the 3/4 in 134 flat. That was 30 and 4 in the third. Approaching the 7/8. Woodmere Gaelic looking to see it through. Check Your Source is second. J.J. Tommy tipped to the outside in third as they drive on down the home stretch. Woodmere Gaelic, Check Your Source coming with them. J.J. Tommy third. On the wire next. And on the rail, Woodmere Gaelic does hold on. Second is Check Your Source with J.J. Tommy. Finishing third, 2-0, 3 and 2. Closing panel, 29 and 2.
Well, this field, Peter, all the way through the mile here, they stayed in contact with each other. They raced well, and Woodmere Gaelic and McPhee here tonight, laying down all the fractions in that little sprint to the finish here. They're home in 29 and 2 in that final quarter.
Again, as Vance said, Lee, they just look great, very composed on the gate, and have raced very well, as you mentioned. They were all together during the race. Brody cut it out here, as you mentioned. Woodmere Gaelic, 32 and 4. He was the leader over there. 103 and 1 to the half. Mike just sitting patiently in the 2-hole. Kenny was 3/3. They raced the backstretch, as Vance said. They stepped it up 134. 3/4, and then they battle down the stretch here now, and you can see Brody is going to fend off Mike, who was coming late here with Check Your Source, but Brody gets there in the end with Woodmere Gaelic, 2-3 and 2. Check Your Source a second, J.J. Tommy third. They come home in 29 and 2, as you mentioned, and Woodmere Gaelic and Brody get it done in the fourth.
As I mentioned earlier, watched Earl Smith won this cold up. He just looked absolutely super. Look, throw a set of hobbles on him with a blind bridle, 4 white feet. Go right to the winner's circle. Woodmere Gaelic here in qualifier 4. They facing gelding 2-year-old son of Stonebridge Terror from the Mach 3 Dam Highland Dancer. Home the Next Generation Stable Stratford, bred by Woodmere Farms of Marshfield. Trained by Earl Smith. Brody McPhee along for the ride. Time of the mile in 2-0, 3 and 2. Here's the official results in the fourth qualifier. Woodmere Gaelic, the winner. Check Your Source was second. J.J. Tommy finished third. They went 32 and 4, 103 and 1, 134, and the mile time 203 and 2. From the top, 1, 2, 3.
And a couple more, just another little shout out there as you come back to the winner's circle, Woodmere Gaelic, those prize draws, those prize presentations that are going out tonight, and for the future stars of racing. They're from the Pre-EI Harness Racing Industry Association, also from Greenhawk, which is located just up the street here from Red Shores, and Clarence Farm Services Limited, along with Red Shores. So that's what the winner will get, and then we do draws for the races from the participants. And in this particular race that just went by there, that was Check Your Source, and Mike McGuigan along with Jamie Whalen. So they have picked up the nice prize package as well from Clarence Farm Services Limited, and that will be in the race office when we fill out the paperwork, and you can stop by and get it at a later date. So race number 5 is coming up. The Trotter is back in action here, and Peter and I will be back in just a few minutes, but we will tell you after the 5th there's going to be a brief 15-minute stoppage and just be able to get the track groomed a little bit and some warm-ups for later on as we continue on with Future Stars of Racing live from Red Shores. Okay, so we're back here. Beautiful shot, Charlottetown tonight, Red Shore Charlottetown, the legendary Charlottetown Driving Park, Future Stars of Racing. For those of you tuned in tonight, we appreciate you tuning in at any one of our channels tonight. And we're going to talk about the City of Charlottetown Birthplace Confederation Series in Red Shores. I want to mention this, the Race Day Show's official Red Shores broadcast, the new season underway, of course, and more opportunities to be involved in that. The Birthplace Confederation Series, though, will be in honor of Diane and Shelley Gass this year. Couldn't think of two better people for the honor, and it's coming up during Guardian Gold Cup and Saucer Week, Pete. So that's another special event that we're looking forward to in 2021.
Absolutely, Lee. And as you said, for Diane and Shelley, certainly worthy and looking forward to it, Lee. They were here a lot of nights, watched a lot of races, cheered on a lot of winners, Lee. So again, very well deserving for Diane and Shelley.
So let's look at a quick summary here. We'll keep an eye on the paddock with the Trotters coming out here. But, yeah, we've had some action here tonight and some really good-looking two-year-olds strutting their stuff tonight.
Absolutely, Lee. As Vance said, they've all looked very well composed behind the gate. Stashed It Away won the first one from Mark Campbell. It was a 2-year-old colt in 2-4-1. As we see the horses coming onto the track, we'll do this quickly here. Pay Up Jack was a trotter, 2-9 and 3. Woodmere Jazz, a 2-year-old filly. How about that trip, 2-2 and 4? And then we just saw Woodmere Gaelic win for Brody in 2-3 and 2. So I'll throw it to Vance here for the post parade.
2-year-old trotters are returning here in our 5th qualifying session. Boom and Box the One, home of Carl Bagnall Stratford, bred by Synico Ventures Incorporated of Toronto. Carl Bagnall trains, Stephen Shepard driving. Number 2, Mr. Miller, home of Kerry Taylor of Stratford, breeder Kenneth Graham of Kensington, Corey McPherson training and driving. Number 3 is Hamac Caesar, owned by Hamac Farms Limited of Brookfield, bred by Wade Piccone of Stanchill and Hamac Farms Limited. Kenny Arsenault, the trainer driver. And to round out the field, number 4 is Headline Howie, home of Jamie Whalen of Vernon Bridge, bred by Meridian Farms of Calgary. Mike McGuigan trains and drives. 2-year-old trotters come next here in the 5th qualifying session. And Redshores property is open for wagering on live races each race day. And it happens at 12 noon.
Yeah, wagering open 12 noon. Pete, one thing that has changed, COVID has changed so many things. I think some of them we're going to keep. But the fact that we have the limited amount of people on the track, what we've done is we've given the opportunity to open up earlier in the day and be able to get your tickets at either one of the locations. For those of you who are not always comfortable online or maybe wager online, we're trying to do the best we can with folks getting in on the action for 2021.
Absolutely.
So we're back on the track here right now, and the 5th race, these are the trotters here, and we're tracking along with Halmac Caesar here. Kenny Arsenault, as we said, the Arsenault barn, very busy tonight. The ownership team here, Halmac Farms Limited, Brookfield, Wade Baconi, Stanchel, and Halmac Farms, the breeder, and Kenny Arsenault, of course, training and driving here tonight, leaves from post 3 with the trotters.
Yeah, and again, we already saw, of course, Wade Baconi in the winner's circle earlier. He had a win with a horse earlier on tonight, Lee. And again, Halmac Farms, you mentioned Kenny Arsenault. We've talked about Kenny so many times. He's developed so many nice horses. And this guy, Halmac Caesar, again, Angus Hall is the sire, and Angus Hall had a real nice career as well. 26 lifetime starts, 8 wins, over 830,000 in the bank, and a record of 54-3 at the Meadowlands as a 3-year-old. So Halmac Caesar here for Kenny from post 3 in race number 5.
Love the names of these trotters in here. Just some cool names for future stars of racing. This is Boom and Bust. Steve Shepard doing the driving for trainer Carl Bagnall, who's also the owner of this 2-year-old by Muscle Up the Goal. And you know, it's just another opportunity to see these horses get going here, and especially their work behind the gate, Peter. It's important that they get that time. I mentioned it a little earlier how Gerard Smith likes to go out and do some schooling with these trotters, but as you can see, they look pretty comfortable getting in behind the gate here.
They do, and we've mentioned that, but both the trotting and the pacing side, Lee, they all look very composed as they swing in here behind the gate. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier, they're picking them up early just to give them a little more practice before they set them and release them off here. But again, Boom and Bust there for Stephen Shepard. As you mentioned, Carl Bagnall is the owner, and we'll see how that horse does off the rail here tonight for Stephen as we hand it over to Vance here for race number 5.
Another look at our 2-year-old trotters. Field of 4 here in qualifier number 5. Boom and Bust on the rail. He's a Muscle Up the Goal from the Lucky Chucky Dam, stuck on digging. Mr. Miller, the 2, is a Ted the Stud off Nike's Image Dam, Maisie Don. 3, Halmac Caesar is an Angus Hall colt from the Amigo Hall Dam, Halmac's Pride. Had a good career here on the East Coast. And from post 4 is Headline Howie. He's an Umbro Barrister from the Andover Hall Dam, Med over you Hanover. So the 4 2-year-old trotters here in the 5th go to the gate. Boom and Bust for Stephen Shepard, Mr. Miller and Corey McPherson. Halmac Caesar, Kenny Arsenault, and Headline Howie has Mike McGuigan. They're at the top of the stretch. The way they behave, you never know there were 2-year-olds facing the gate post time. There they go, off and trotting. Halmac Caesar is leaving out. To his inside, that is Mr. Miller going with him. From the outside into the turn, Headline Howie, and towards the rail, that is Boom and Bust. So the trotters round the turn, and towards the inside, that's Mr. Miller for Corey McPherson, leading at the 8th pole. To his outside second is Halmac Caesar, then trotting third towards the rail, Boom and Bust, and the early trailer 4th is Headline Howie. So they race to the opening quarter mile rather comfortably, and on the point, Mr. Miller is the leader at the opening station, leading it by 2. Hamac Caesar races second. Third around the turn, Boomin' Box. Trailing fourth, Headline Howie. They're at the quarter, 35 and 2. So at the 3H pole, tempo picks up a little on the front end as Mr. Miller brings the field towards the opening half mile. Racing from second is Hamac Caesar. Back into third, Boomin' Box. The trailer fourth is Headline Howie. So they're halfway home in the 2-year-old trotting future stars of racing. And the midway point leader, Mr. Miller and Mr. McPherson, they pick it up the half mile in 1:08. So they trot around the turn, arriving at the 5H. Mr. Miller to get him there. Sticking with that leader is Hamac Caesar, and he's going to the outside. Back into third, Boomin' Box. Then the trailer fourth is Headline Howie. The 3/4 coming next. And as a team, they arrive at that station. Mr. Miller towards the rail and matching his strides. That is Hamac Caesar. Racing third, Boomin' Box. Trailing the field fourth is Headline Howie. 3/4 in 1:40 and 1. So the farther they go, the faster they go. And they're homeward bound. Mr. Miller at the rail, the leader. Hamac Caesar run alongside. Then in third, Boomin' Box with Headline Howie. The 2-year-old trotters still as a team as they come to the wire next. Oh, and it's close at the inside. Mr. Miller might have hung on. Hamac Caesar run alongside. Then it was Boomin' Box with Headline Howie. Time for the mile, 2:10 and 3. Trotting a closing quarter, 30 and 2.
All right, here's a look at the stretch time for you in the 5th race. The future stars are racing tonight, Peter. The trotters in action. Mr. Miller here doing the work here, and Hamac Caesar. They're going to sprint it out through the, battle it out here through the stretch in a nice closing quarter of 30 and 2.
Yeah, again, they look like two veteran trotters here, but they're not. Again, they're only 2 years old. And as Van said, they just went quicker as the mile went along. They picked it up 35 and 2. Corey was over there with Mr. Miller. Kenny was sitting with Hamac Caesar, 1:08 past the half. And then they challenged up the backstretch. Boy, they started to race up the backstretch. The 3/4 were 1:40 and 1, and they sat down for the final trot here, Lee, and they're sprinting on the end of it. Corey on the inside, Kenny on the outside, and it looks like Corey's going to hang on right at the wire. Wow, that's a blanket finish, but I think Mr. Miller might have stuck his nose in front there for Corey to get the win. Hamac Caesar second, Boom and Bust third, and it looks like they went in 2:10 and 3, as you mentioned, closing home at a good 30 and 2.
Here is Mr. Miller arriving at the 5th qualifying section winner's circle. Mr. Miller trotting Bayco 2 by Ted the Stud from the Nike's Image Dam, Maisie Dawn. Owned by Kerry Taylor Stratford. Bred by Kenneth Graham of Kensington. Trained and driven to victory by Corey McPherson. Trotting a mile in 2:10 3. Closing quarter 30 and 2. Mr. Miller. Now the results of the fifth qualifier. Boom and Bust was third. Mr. Miller the winner. How Max Caesar finished second. Headline Howie was fourth. Fractions of 35 and 2, 108, 140 and 1, and the mile 2:10 and 3. In review, 3-1-2-4. In the sixth qualifier, number 3, Crimson and Clover is scratched. In the sixth qualifier, scratch the 3, Crimson and Clover.
So we are taking a bit of a pause here for after the fifth race, and we'll be back in just a few minutes as we do some work on the track, and also let some of the other future stars do some warm-ups, as we have 6, 7, 8, and 9 still to come here tonight. As we mentioned, when you come back to the winner's circle, I see Stephen Pino doing the trackside presentation here tonight, of course, going out to the winning connections, and that is from the Future Stars of Racing, those prize donations from Prince Edward Island Harness Racing Industry Association, Greenhawk, Clarence Farm Services Limited, and Red Shores. And while those winners get handed out, of course, when you come back to the winner's circle, we're also doing some just random draws from each race. And happy to report that the winner in race number 5 came from the ownership team of Boom and Bust. That's Carl Bagnall, and he picks up 2 vouchers from Turf's Bar and Grill, and we'll have those in the race office when we finish up the paperwork, and you can stop by and pick them up. So congratulations. A bit of a pause for the cause here, but back with more of the Future Stars of Racing from Red Shores in just a minute. So the Future Stars of Racing continues tonight in Charlottetown. We're just on a little pause right now for the horses to get warmed up for the second half of the Future Stars of Racing, and the track crew doing their part out there too, Peter. Laying some water down on the track as well, and doing a bit of grooming. So we're underway here. We got 5 in the books already tonight, and let's have a little summary about some of the action so far.
Yeah, Stash It Away was a winner for Mark Campbell in race number 1, 2-year-old colt, and a nice trip, 2-4-1, and then closed out in 29 and change. Pay Up Jack, a trotter. Wade Piccone is the owner. Kenny Arsenault is the driver. They were a winner as well, 2-9 and 3. Looked really good. Pay Up Jack. Woodmere Jazz for Barrio tonight, Lee. This was really impressive. 2-year-old filly. And a real nice win for Woodmere Jazz. They went 2-2-4 and closed out 28. Closed out 28 and 3 as my audio just checked out there for a second. So yeah, Woodmere Jazz and Barrio looked really good. And then in the fourth, Lee, it was Woodmere Gaelic for Brodie McPhee. They looked really good as well. 2-3 and 2, closed 29 and 2. And we just saw Mr. Miller, the trotter, there, 2-10 and 3, but closed in 30 and 2, Lee. So they've all looked really good, very composed. And again, Lee, the first 5 have been excellent racing.
Yeah, and the Kevin McLean, Reg McPherson teaming up here tonight. We had 2 winners on the 5-pack that we just put out on the track here for the Future Stars of Racing. So the prize packs will continue as well. We want to thank all of our prize donations here tonight. Prince Edward Island Harness Racing Industry Association, also Greenhawk and Clarence Farm Services Limited, along with Red Shores. And we're adding to the prize packs here tonight. So what's happening is the winning connections come back to the winner's circle. They get a prize pack there as well. And then we do some random draws from all the owners that have been entered into each race. So a bit of a pause here right now. We're coming back with race number 6. We have 6, 7, 8, and 9 still to come from Red Shores tonight. And by the way, we mentioned Steve Pino doing some work in the winner's circle. I know Vernon McDonald is here tonight as well. Vernon, of course, a longtime cooler presenter at our tracks here in Charlottetown and Summerside. And I know we're thinking of you, Vernon. I know Vernon's on track here tonight, checking out some of the action, but he's done a lot of great work over the years in those winners.
He sure has, Lee. And again, hello to Vernon. He's done some great work over there. He's put a lot of coolers and a lot of winners, Lee, at both tracks. So Vernon, hi to you.
Well, I couldn't help but think, but the only place you want to be when it's Future Stars of Racing or any time you're in the racing is the winner's circle. That's where you want to get back to.
Absolutely.
You want to do all this. So a lot of great work for these Future Stars of Racing here tonight, and nice to see them in action. We'll be back with race number 6, qualifier, in just a few minutes.
The PEI Standard Horse Owners Association is conducting a 50-50 draw tonight, and Gail's on the tarmac in her 50-50 attire. There's over $200 going to go to the winner, and the PEI Harness Racing Industry Association has a $100 gas card as a second prize in the 50-50 draw. So it's your last call to pick up your 50-50 ticket. The 2-year-old filly pacers for the 6th race, scratched down to just a pair of them. Number 1 is Middleton Missy. Oma Noonan Holdings Limited of Summerside. Karen Noonan of Summerside is the breeder. Cliff Murphy trains. Kenny Murphy driving. Number 2 is Redland Olivia, owned by Redland Farms of Bible Hill, Nova Scotia. Bred by Robert Hamather of Exeter, Ontario. Trained by Earl Smith. Brody McPhee does the driving. Number 3, Crimson and Clover, is scratched. She will not go. The Guardian Gold Cup and Saucer is Saturday, August 21st. For upcoming race stage promotion and special events, you go to Redshores.ca.
Okay, so we're back on track here for the Future Stars of Racing and race number 6, the qualifier here tonight. Scratched down to a field of 2. And there's Redland Olivia, Brody McPhee doing the driving tonight for trainer Earl Smith. I was talking to Earl a little earlier today. He's got a busy night along with the Arsenault stable. They've been sending out a lot of these Future Stars here tonight, Peter. Coming in here from Redland Farms, Bible Hill, Nova Scotia, tuning in tonight. And riding along with Redland Olivia from Post 2.
Yeah, Lee, and again, as you mentioned, Earl has trained and developed so many good horses, and he's got Redland Olivia here, you mentioned, for Redland Farms. Robert Hamather is the breeder. Captain Treacherous, the sire, Lee, looking him up today, and wow, the stats on Captain Treacherous. He 33 lifetime starts, 23 wins, 5 seconds and 2/3, so he was 30 for 33 life, over $3 million in purses. He won the Metro in 49 and 2, the NA Cup in 48 and 3, and went to his record. His life record was at the Red Mile in Lexington, 147 and 1. So what a career for Captain Treacherous, who is the sire of Redland Olivia here for Brody McPhee.
Mm-hmm. And of the Badlands Hanover Dam, it's no secret. So some good breeding here, and you'll get them seeing Golden Gate. Let's have a look at Middleton Missy here as well. Kenny Murphy doing the drive for trainer Cliff Murphy tonight, and the breeder Karen Noonan in Summerside.
Yeah, we mentioned Stonebridge Terror earlier, Lee, and I think it's important to remember that this guy raced, the sire of this horse here, Middleton Missy, Stonebridge Terror, raced here in 210 in the Gold Cup. Part Shark won it. He was a good second. He came back when in 212 and 18 won it. He was 4th there as well. And Lee, he was a dynamite racehorse in Ontario. Looking at his lines, he was in a lot of preferreds and opens up there. Just a really, really nice horse and a good sire as well.
So taking a look at the viewers tuning in, they continue to tune in here, and as you're tuning in for maybe the first time, this is what's happening. These Future Stars of Racings get a little extra time behind the starting gate. So the Metro Home Building Center starting gate has the Future Stars of Racing, 2 of them, for race number 6, and this qualifier will send it upstairs with the fillies. Here's Vance Cameron.
So a pair of 2-year-old filly pacers here in the 6th qualifying edition of the Future Stars of Racing. Middleton Mixie is the one, the Stonebridge Terror filly, off of the Camlock Dam, My Little Rebel. Cliff Murphy training with Kenny Murphy driving. Alongside the 2 is Redland Olivia, the Captain Treacherous filly off the Badlands Hanover Dam. It's no secret. Brody McPhee got the call. Pair of them, they're right on the gate. Just amazing. Equine athletes on display here tonight in Charlottetown as we watch The future stars of racing. Can't wait for them to line up in a stake race of some kind, even an overnight. So the two-year-old filly Pacers on the gate, top of the stretch. They're approaching a start. There they go, off and pacing, and Redland Olivia will shoot to the front as they get away from the gate. Second, that'll be Middleton Missy as the fillies round the turn. They approach the opening eighth, and it is Redland Olivia, the Captain Treacherous filly for Brodie McPhee, quickly by 3. Away second is Middleton Missy as we get scratched down to just two-year-old filly Pacers here in the 6th qualifier on this Tuesday night. Track conditions, they're fast. Weather conditions are great. They're over to the opening quarter mile with Redland Olivia. Now opening it up. Racing from second, that's Middleton Missy. The quarter was 32 and 3. So the fillies round the turn, arriving at the 3-8. And alone on the lead, Redland Olivia getting a little fancy stepping second. That was Middleton Missy, and she's dropped well back off the leader. So at the midway point, Redland Olivia will have to go it alone for Brodie McPhee. She's halfway home. Then racing from second is Middleton Missy. Rounding the turn for the second time. They're at the half in 102 and 2. That was 29 and 4 in the second quarter for Redland Olivia. She'll take to the back stretch going to 3/4. All she's up against now will be the clock. Well back in second is Middleton Missy. So as the fillies arrive at the 3/4, that is Redland Olivia to get them there. Second is Middleton Missy. The 3/4 of a mile was 1:33 and 1, and that was 30 and change in the third quarter. So just an eighth of a mile left to go. All she's up against is the stopwatch now, and it's Redland Olivia bringing them home here with Brodie McPhee. Middleton Missy is well in arrears second. So as they arrive on the line, the Captain Treacherous filly Redland Olivia will win in line to Brodie McPhee. Middleton Missy will finish second. Time for the mile, 2:04 and 2.
So the two-year-old fillies here in race number 6, scratched down to a field of 2 here, and this is Redland Olivia, Brodie McPhee having all their own way here tonight, Peter, laying down all the fractions as they get through the stretch.
Yeah, look good, Lee, for that first trip, that first qualifier for Redland Olivia, the two-year-old filly by Captain Treacherous. Got to the front for Brodie there, laid down that opening split of 32 and 3. Kenny's filly, Middleton Missy, got a little bit steppy, but that happens to young horses, so Redland Olivia had to go it on her own. 102 and 2 to the half, up 3/4, 133 and 1. She's all by herself here at the wire with Brodie in the bike. 2:04 and 2. They go gate to wire here, Redland Olivia and Brodie win race number 6, and we'll see them back in the winner's circle in just a moment.
Here is Redland Olivia arriving at that 6th race winner's circle. The bay pacing filly 2 by Captain Treacherous. From It's No Secret, she by Badlands, Hanover. Owned by Redland Farms, Bible Hill, Nova Scotia. Bred by Robert Hamerther of Exeter, Ontario. The veteran trainer Earl Smith does the conditioning. Brodie McPhee in the driver's seat. 2:04 and 2. Redland Olivia in the future stars of racing. Here's the rundown in the 6th qualifier. Middleton Missy was second. Redland Olivia, the winner. Crimson and Clover was scratched. 32 and 3, 102 and 2, 133 and 1, 2:04 and 2. In review, 2-1 scratch.
And once again, thank you to the Future Stars of Racing prize donors tonight: Prince Edward Island Harness Racing Industry Association, Greenhawk, Clarence Farm Services Limited, and Red Shores. And with that, the draw in there, we had one winner, so they got the winning connections there. And then this other prize draw from Turfs, which is two $20 gift cards going out to the connections of Middleton Missy and Noonan Holden's Limited. Those will be at the race office for you to make arrangements to get. So the 7th qualifier getting ready to come on the track here. 7th, 8th, and 9th still to come here tonight in Charlottetown. It's a busy week with Red Shores, along with the racing and the events. We have the Future Stars of Racing tonight. We have the Wally Hennessy book launch tomorrow night. We have Thursday night racing, Friday night racing, of course, and Saturday night racing as well. But Friday nights, let me touch on this, Peter. I mentioned the top of the park and how busy they are. The Sizzlin' Summer Nights is a theme for Fridays in the top of the park. All your summer favorites, fresh maritime seafood, and island meats, salads, and desserts, international wines for only $6. You can make your reservations in the top of the park. Now let's switch it back to some of the upcoming racing action that we have here this week.
Yeah, you mentioned Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, Lee, but let's key in on Thursday night because I think there's a big one coming up in race number 9. Hop Up, as we know, Lee, has just been off to a great year. The trotter, she's won 4 in a row, Lee, and has been assigned post position 6 on Thursday night. So can she make it 5 in a row? Well, she's been hot. She won her last one by 4 and change. She's on the outside for Corey, leaving from post 6. This is the field. Daisy River on the rail, Sailor Blue, Glider Man with Miles Heffernan in the middle. That's interesting, Lee, and I think it'll be a factor. Freddie for Mark Campbell, Cheeky Little Minx for Barrio, and Hop Up for Corey on the outside, Lee. Going to be a dandy in race 9 Thursday night.
Yeah, trying to keep the winning streak going as well. Be looking forward to it on the Thursday night package. It's all part of a 3-pack that's happening this weekend on Prince Edward Island Racing. Okay, so the 7th race qualifier is coming up. The Colts will be on the track here in just a minute.
Seventh qualifier, the 2-year-old Colt Pacers. Number 1 is Woodmere Bankroll, owned by Mike Pollard of Stratford, bred by Woodmere Farms of Marshfield, trained and driven by Mike McGuigan. Number 2, Middleton Terrors, owned by Kingsley Walsh and Frank Balcom. Donnie McNeil trains and drives. 3 is Fernhill General for owner Peter Smith of Stratford, Gerald Morrissey of Vernon River, Earl Smith training with Brody McPhee in the sulky. We'd like to thank you, our prize donors, for the future stars of racing, the Prince Edward Island Harness Racing Industry Association, Greenhawk, Clarence Farm Services Limited, and Red Shores. And Lee and Peter, we can't thank our sponsors enough every harness racing season, and tonight, future stars of racing, no exception.
Yeah, no exception, Vance. It's every one of these events, of course, as we all know, working in the corporate community, a lot of the businesses do like to get involved and stay involved. It's something that they do, and we really do appreciate it. And getting involved with the future stars of racing tonight, Pete. Let's head back out on the track here. It's a beautiful night in Charlottetown. We've got a mixture of sun and cloud, 23 degrees. The wind not really a factor here tonight as well. We were watching and tracking the rain a little earlier. It was threatening in the afternoon, but it's nice to see that it's staying away for these future stars of racing. There's Middleton Terror here going out on the track here. Donnie McNeil is the trainer and the driver here tonight. Kingsley Walsh and Frank Balcom are the co-owners for breeder Noonan Holden, someone to Russell and Karen Noonan out of Summerside. So they're going to leave mid-pack here tonight for this 2-year colt by Stonebridge Terror.
Yeah, and again, he looks really good here. This guy looks very calm, and you mentioned Donnie McNeil's got him. Donnie is the trainer as well. He does great work with his own horses, and he's got this guy looking great as well, the 2-year-old colt by Stonebridge Terror. He mentioned that horse raced here a couple of times in the Gold Cup, and he also raced the Molson Pace back at 210 Lee. And I just think, looking at that line today for Stonebridge Terror, won the West, won the race, foiled again, was second, and Stonebridge Terror was third. He was charted in 52, closed at 27-3. So again, Stonebridge Terror was an excellent racehorse, and he looks to be a good sire as well. Middleton Terror here for Donnie McNeil. They'll leave from post 2 in the race number 7.
All right, here's a look at Fernhill General, and Peter Smith and Gerald Morrissey team up here for this 2-year-old colt by Malicious. And they've had some great horses over the years. And again, Earl Smith, the veteran, sending this colt out. Brody McPhee will handle tonight.
Malicious was a really good racehorse as well. The sire of Fernhill General here, 138 lifetime starts, 29 wins, 810,000, over 810,000 in the bank, and a record of 50-1 at Pocono as a 4-year-old. The sire of Fernhill General for Brody. Brody's already got a win here tonight, and he gets Fernhill General from post 3 here in race 7.
You know, I have to say, as we get, we know in this business when you hit June 1st, it's basically hang on, because before you know it, you're into the signature events. And the next big signature event we'll be working, of course, is Governor's Plate, presented by Summerside Chrysler Dodge, which Brody won last year.
Yes.
With
Bugs McGuire.
Bugs McGuire. So, yeah, great connection there, and we're looking forward. There's a look before they go to the gate, because we do have time. They are going to roll in behind the gate. There's Mike McGuigan. He's training and driving the Mike Pollard investment here with Woodmere Bankroll. Love that name. By Roll With It Harry, gets the rail position here tonight.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, Lee. We know Roll With It Harry well. 149 lifetime starts, 26 wins, over 600,000 in the bank, 50-1 as a 3-year-old at the Meadowlands. And again, he's raced here and done very well, Lee. And we know him through the harness, the Hope as well, doing great work through that function as well.
So they're lining up in behind the Metro Home Building Center starting gate once again, and they'll get a little more time in behind the gate here for some before they release them into action, Vance.
Couple of colts, 1 gelding, 2-year-old pacers. Our 7th qualifying session, Future Stars. Beauty Tuesday night at the Driving Park. Woodmere Bankroll. The Roll With It Harry gelding. Mike McGuigan has the rail. Middleton Terror's the 2. Stonebridge Terror colt with Donnie McNeil. Outside the 3, Fernhill General, the Malicious colt for Brody McPhee. It's the 7th, top of the stretch. Here they come. There they go, off and pacing. Woodmere Bankroll along the rail. He's the leader into the turn. Second is Middleton Terror. To get away, third will be Fernhill General. So the 2-year-old colts roll around the turn, arriving at the gate, led by Woodmere Bankroll from the outside. That is Fernhill General coming second, and away third, Middleton Terror. So we'll have a leadership change as they arrive at the opening quarter. Fernhill General for Brody McPhee takes over. Second is Woodmere Bankroll, and into the turn from third, that's Middleton Terror. They were over to the quarter in 31 seconds flat as they move round the turn, approaching the 3/8. Fernhill General is the leader. Stalking in second is Woodmere Bankroll. Then continuing to trail third, that's Middleton Terror. They approach the midway point next, and the General and Brody will get them halfway home here in the 7th. Muscling up in the 2-hole, that is Woodmere Bankroll, and with the leaders third, Middleton Terror, the half mile in 1:01 and 3. They went 30 and 3 in the second quarter. As they move over to the 5/8 pole, it's Fernhill General, the leader, on Woodmere Bankroll, and Middleton Terror going to stick with them in third. They're straightening up the back stretch for the final time. 3/4 coming next, and Fernhill General arriving there with the lead. Second is Woodmere Bankroll. Middleton Terror continues to go third. So the 3/4 in the books, and it was Fernhill General to get them there. 3/4 in 1:33 flat. They're inside of 1/8 of a mile left to go. Oh, and they're turning it on as they come home. Fernhill General, the leader. Woodmere Bankroll is second. Middleton Terror in third as they land on the line next. That's Fernhill General for Brody McPhee. Second, Woodmere Bankroll. Middleton Terror will finish third. Time for the mile, it's incredible. 2 minutes, 4/5, 27-4, closing quarter.
Well, this is an impressive stretch drive here, an impressive closing quarter here, Peter, with Fernhill General and Brody McPhee. And they just sort of waited to the everybody got settled off the gate, and then it seemed to be systems go.
It was lights out then after that, Lee. As you mentioned, Woodmere Bankroll had the lead briefly, but they straightened out for the first time up the backstretch, and Brody was able to clear up with Fernhill General. 31 seconds, Lee. Nice and comfortable over there. 1:01 and 3 to the half. He's still the boss. 1:33. He's really starting to separate himself now. And wow, did he turn on the jets down the stretch here. 27 and 4. Snappy closing quarter here. 2 minutes and 4/5. Wow, what an impressive performance for Fernhill General and Brody McPhee. They win it. Woodmere Bankroll second. Middleton Terror third. But Fernhill General, no doubt the winner. And Brody McPhee, will see them in the winner's circle in just a moment.
Veteran conditioner Earl Smith is going to have a busy, and I mean a busy, summer season of racing. Here's his latest stable star in the 7th race. That's number 3, Fernhill General. Bay Pacing Colt 2 by Militias off the Arts Place Dam. Noble Ellen, owned by Peter Smith of Stratford and Gerald Morrissey of Vernon River. Bred by Brian McLeod of Truro, Nova Scotia. Earl Smith trains Brody McPhee in the driver's seat. He comes a final quarter of 27 and 4 tonight to stop the clock in 2 minutes and 4/5. Now the official results in the 7th. Woodmere Bankroll was 2nd. Middleton Terror 3rd. Fernhill General, the race winner, fractions of 31, 101 and 3, 133, and the mile was 2 minutes and 4/5. In review, 2-3-1.
So the 2-year-old fillies will make their way to the track here in just a minute. Future Stars of Racing. We have 2 left. Race 8, the qualifier, and the 9th. We'll wrap it up for you tonight from Red Shores here in Charlottetown. We have Governor's Plate just on the screen there. We'll talk a little bit about that because it kicks off on July the 4th, Peter, with Governor's Plate eliminations brought to you by Summerside Chrysler Dodge. But some other cool things happening that week as well with Harness the Hope, and that's going to kick off. There's 2 events, Harness the Hope in Summerside July 4th, and it'll be back here later in the month as well in Charlottetown. So some great key events, signature events happening this summer in PEI.
It's happening soon, Lee, and as you mentioned, we'll have the Governor's Plate eliminations on that Sunday, that first Sunday, the 4th there. We'll race all week up until the Governor's Plate finally, and then you mentioned Harness the Hope. It's one of my favorite nights, Lee. I really think everybody gets involved with Harness the Hope. They've done a great job, the organization, and I know you'll touch on that a little bit more, but the drivers, the trainers, the horses last year, all decked in pink, Lee. It was beautiful, and I just think it's great that we're doing it at both tracks now.
Yeah, you know, the thing about it is a lot of the horse racing community does get involved in that. I know the PCHC with their 50-50 draws as well. They've been doing some great work of raising money there. And as you mentioned, July 4th is going to be the date on that. And they're going to raise some money, some great money they've raised over the years, thousands of dollars for Islanders for Harness the Hope. So it is exciting that it's going to happen in Summerside, and it's the kickoff Governor's Plate week.
Time to check your 50-50 draw tickets, valued at $228, N30207. N30207 for $228. And for the gas card, it's N54191. $100 gas card, N54191. Good luck. Qualifier number 8 on the track. 2-year-old filly pacers. One is Mystical Gal, owned by Doug Matheson and Janet Sanderson of Cornwall. Elmer Fallon of Stratford, the breeder. Nick Oakes, training and driving. Number 2 is Theory Sealster, owned by Kevin Harvey of Hammond Plains and Rudge Racing of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Bred by the Sealsters Farm Incorporated of Lucan, Ontario. Kenny Arsenault, training and driving. Number 3, Girl in a Tavern, owned by Donald McCrae of Vernon Bridge. Breeder, Berkey by the Bay Stables of Brackley and Luke Burke of Marshfield. The trainer-driver is Jason Hughes. Mystery Vouchers promotion is now underway for on-track players at Red Shores. You could qualify to win the grand prize of $1,000 on Gold Cup night.
Yeah, we have Mystery Vouchers underway for on-track players, Peter. Very easy to play. All you have to do is place a bet, and you could get a ballad that comes out, gives you an opportunity to walk away with a prize pack, whether it's racing or restaurants or gaming. And then you qualify, of course, for the $1,000 draw coming up on Gold Cup night. And the Rewards Club, there's a new look, new feel. New point structure. Make sure you check that out and get your card as well. So we're on race number 8, the 2-year qualifiers. The fillies in action here tonight. Girl in a Tavern. I just want to, before we get to Mystical Gal here, Girl in a Tavern, wasn't that a classic hit at one point? Wasn't there a classic hit?
Country song of some kind?
I think so. It sounds to me like it was, and I'll have to figure that out.
You might have to Google that.
I might have to look at it. There's a look at Mystical Gal, Nick Oakes training and driving here tonight for Doug Matheson, Janet Sanderson of Cornwall. and Elmer Folland, Stratford, who I know from our Park Royal Church, but I also remember, Elmer Folland back in the day, driving and training horses here, and nice to see him still involved as a breeder here tonight. So sends out this 2-year-old filly by Peng Shui here today under the care of Nick Oakes.
Yeah, and again, great to see Nick again with another young horse. His horses are doing very well this year, racing well at Red Shores. He's got Mystical Gal here, you mentioned, by Peng Shui, and Doug Matheson and Janet Sanderson. They're the co-owners. Elmer Folland, yes, remember him well. Lee, and he did very well over the years, and nice to see him involved, as you said, here on Mystical Gal for Nicholas Oakes, and they're going to get the rail here, and it's great to see Nick in the bike here as he's going to do the 2-year-old qualifying on Mystical Gal on the rail.
Well, we have 3 fillies in this race here, and there's a look at Theory Sealster here. Kenny Arsenault training and driving here tonight for Kevin Harvey of Hammonds Plains and Rudge Racing at Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Sealster Farms is the breeder. Now, we should mention that it wasn't that long ago, of course, a year ago, really, that Kenny teamed up with Kevin Harvey. Remember that great finish with a horse that they had, of course, Lisburn.
Lisburn, yes.
And some great memories there. And here they are back in with a 2-year-old filly here by State Treasurer.
Yeah, again, Lee, Theory Sealster for State Treasurer. And State Treasurer, what a horse he was. 106 lifetime starts, 33 wins, over $2 million in the bank, at a record of 147 at the Meadowlands as a 6-year-old. And he won the Molson Pace in 2013 over Better Than Cheddar and foiled again. So again, you're just talking about a very, very high caliber horse who had a great career, State Treasurer. And he's the sire of Theory Sealster here. Kenny is the trainer and the driver here on this horse.
All right, Jason Hughes just turning Girl in a Tavern here for Donnie McRae. They've had some great horses. Berkey by the Bay Stables and Luke Burke, the breeders here, and from the Blue Knight stable. And they're going to fire out at post 3.
Yep, Big Jim is the sire of Girl in the Tavern. Again, 10 lifetime wins from 20 starts, 1.5 million, 149 and won the record at Woodbine. So again, another good sire here for Girl in the Tavern. We see the Blue Knight going to leave in post 3.
So thanks for tuning in tonight. We have Redshores.ca, our Red Shores live YouTube channel, and FM 98.5. And they're lining in behind the Metro Home Building Center starting gate. And Vance, they've all get a little extra time behind the starting gate here tonight, but they're all looking good.
Yeah, just simply incredible. These equine athletes at just 2 years of age, about to start their racing career. Real professionals, every one of them that we've seen tonight, Lee, without a doubt. Looking forward for when they go for some prize money. And we get the Maritimes all coming to Charlottetown and Truro and over in St. John. Just looking forward to getting back to a little bit of normal here in the harness racing scene in 2021. The 2-year-old filly facers in tonight's 8th race qualifier. Mystical Gal has Nick Oakes. Theory Sealster from 2 with Kenny Arsenault. And that's Girl in a Tavern from 3, Jason Hughes. They're on the gate. Top of the stretch. They're approaching a start. There they go, off and pacing. The first one out is Theory Sealster. Second one to the turn, Girl in the Tavern. And a little tardy at the start on the rail, Mystical Gal will be the trailer as they round the turn. Approaching the opening 8th, led by Theory Sealster. Second is Girl in the Tavern. As they straighten to the quarter, the trailer third is Mystical Gal. So Theory Sealster, the state treasurer, filly in line to Kenny Arsenault, will lead them over to the opening station. Girl in a Tavern, the Big Jim filly for Jason Hughes, right there in the 2-hole. Well off the leaders in third, Mystical Gal. That's the Peng Shui filly for Nick Oakes. The opening quarter was very comfortable of 33 and 2. They swing on past the 3/8 pole, and it's Theory Sealster in complete command. Girl in a Tavern continues second, then the trailer third. Mixed Eagle Gal, they approach the opening half mile next. And that's the State Treasurer filly halfway home, Theory Sealster. Second is Girl in a Tavern and losing contact with the leaders. Mixed Eagle Gal, the opening half mile in 103 and 2. They stepped it up 30 seconds flat in the second quarter. They roll on by the 5/8 pole led by Theory Sealster. Sticking with the leader, that's Girl in a Tavern second. Then back to third is Mixed Eagle Gal. They arrive at 3/4 next. And on the front end, Theory Sealster down to a quarter of a mile to go. Girl in a Tavern continues with her second. Third is Mixed Eagle Gal. 3/4 up in 1:33 and 2. There's another quarter in 30 seconds flat, and the fillies are homeward bound. Theory Sealster the leader. Girl in a Tavern comes off her back now late. Mixed Eagle Gal third, deep in the stretch, on the wire next. Girl in a Tavern for Jason Hughes. Theory Sealster and Kenny Arsenault, then Mixed Eagle Gal for Nick Oakes. Time for the mile, 2:0, 2 and 1. That's a 28 and 4 closer.
It was Smilin' Bill McCormick.
Okay.
Yeah. Girl in a Tavern. Rocky sent me the note on that, so there you go. Jason Hughes, I'll tell you, this is a great group here. They did great work in here. Girl in the Tavern comes off the back of Theory Sealster and gets it through and deep stretch.
You know what, Lee? They raced really well. Theory Sealster cut this 33 and 2, 103 and 2. Jason just sat in the pocket pretty much the whole way. Kenny did the road work, 133 and 2, and they're going to battle down the stretch here. Jason angles out deep in the lane here and is going to get up to nab Theory Sealster right on the wire. Girl in a Tavern is the winner for the Blue Knight, 2-2 and 1. They close in a good 28 and 4. Theory Sealster is second. Mystical Gal is third. And Lee, could you and Rocky maybe do a duet, karaoke, Girl in a Tavern? I could see it.
Well, I could probably do some backup vocals on it. I think Rocky would take the lead on it.
I think he would too.
I mean, he's the singer from the group, let's face it.
Another filly I watched warming up for Jason Hughes. Not a boot, not a hobble. Did her warm-up mile, looked absolutely super. Looked super in her qualifier. Talking about Girl in a Tavern in the 8th race winner's circle. Bay-facing filly 2, but Big Jim off the Cam's Card Shark Dam drinking games. Home of Donald McRae, Vernon Bridge. Berkey by the Bay Stables of Brackley and Luke Berger Marshfield, the breeders. Jason Hughes, the Blue Knight. Trains and drives. Mile in 2:0, 2 and 1, 28-4, closing quarter. Girl in a Tavern in the 8th.
Yeah, so those prize draws tonight for the winners from the Prince Edward Island Harness Racing Industry Association, Green Hawk, Clarence Farm Services Limited, and Red Shores. So they get some treats in the bucket there, a new halter as well, some horse treats, and 2 Top of the Park vouchers from the Top of the Park as well. Now, the ones that are entered for tonight, some other prize draws. In race number 7, the winner there for 2 gift certificates from Turf's Bar and Grill is Woodmere Bankroll. Mike Pollard is the winner there. And we just pulled the last one here in race number 8, and that's Mystical Gal, the winning connections there. Doug Matheson and Janet Sanderson also walking away with a prize pack here tonight.
Here's the official results in race 8. Mystical Gal third, Theory Sealster second. Girl in a Tavern, the winner, the fractions of 33 and 2, 103 and 2, 133 and 2, and the mile time 2:02 and 1. In review, 3, 2, 1.
Well, another new app that we're working with this season, this harness racing season, is Dark Horse. You can download it, play darkhorse.com, another app that we're working with Woodbine Entertainment Group. Now we're ready to go. The final qualifier coming up, the Colts will be on in just a few minutes here. Peter, we talked about tomorrow night's big event with the Wally Hennessy Driven to Win book launch. We have Thursday night racing action, and Friday night the tailgate parties will wrap up in Summerside. Another action-packed card, and you have the feature.
Yeah, again, Lee comes up in race number 10. It's going to be a good one. Best to Hurst is on the rail for Taylor Doyle. Pictonian Storm and Mark Campbell, they'll be post position 2 in the feature in Summerside on Friday night. Screen Test in the middle for Corey McPherson. Panimal Kingdom and David Dowling, they'll be 4. And Soccer Hanover, who won it last week, Lee, on the front end and looked real good winning it. Kenny Murphy going to drive Soccer Hanover from post 5. So that's the field, a good set of 5 in race number 10. Friday night in Summerside, Lee. Tailgate party is going to be a good one.
Yeah, tailgate parties. Post time is, of course, at 6 o'clock. So we'll wait for the final 3 that's coming out here tonight. Qualifiers underway. The Future Stars of Racing. Thanks for tuning in. And we have one more set to come here live from Red Shores.
Ninth and the final qualifier on the track, 2-year-old Colt Pacers. Number 1 is J.J. Logan, owned by Perry Burke, Rosal, Quebec. Corey McPherson, the trainer-driver, bred by Jamie McKinley of Clyde River. Number 2, Pocket of Aces, owned by Doug Matson of Cornwall. Dunsand Farms of Warren Grove. The breeder is Dan Lewis of Blackheads Lake, Nova Scotia, trained and driven by Nick Oakes. Number 3 is J.J. Xavier, owned by David Lund of Moncton, New Brunswick. Breeders are Jamie McKinley of Clyde River and Windermere Farms of North Wiltshire. Earl Smith is the trainer, with Brody McPhee in the driver's seat. Ninth and the final for the Future Stars of Racing. Back to 2 former Future Stars of Racing, Peter McPhee and Lee Drake.
Not sure what to say about that. Future Stars of Racing.
I think he's right. Former being the key word.
Sure. You know, it's part of the fun here tonight. I'm just interested in some of the notes. As you know, when we're on live on the air, we get notes and different people tuning in here tonight from all around the Maritimes having a look at the Future Stars of Racing. So it's great to see. And very thankful that we're able to pull this off tonight and see these young horses get involved. And the Future Stars of Racing really is, it does set the tone, doesn't it, Peter, for all these great stake races that are coming up this summer. And when you get a chance to look at some of these 2-year-olds and how well they perform tonight, I'm amazed by it as well.
Absolutely, Lee. And again, it gives you optimism and hope. We're coming out of this, Lee. Again, everybody's getting excited to see these young horses perform on the track. The borders are hopefully opening. As Van said, we're going to see Truro, we're going to see Inverness and Northside and St. John and Summerside and Charlottetown. So, Lee, everybody coming together. We're going to see the young horses and all the other horses racing, and it just gives you a great feeling of what lies ahead.
So there's a 3-pack here. It's the ninth, the final one, Future Stars of Racing, and the Colts back in action. This is Pocket of Aces here. Nick Oakes back in action for this race. Doug Matheson and Dunstan Farms, Warren Grove, and Dan Lewis, Blackheads Lake, Nova Scotia, is the breeder as well for this 2-year-old colt. It's getting reaction, and Nick just keeping them in check here in the backstretch.
Yeah, as I said earlier, Nick's horses are racing very well. He had a really good start to the meet in Summerside and Charlottetown. He's got another young horse here, Pocket of Aces, by Stonebridge Terrier. We mentioned him a couple of times tonight. He was an excellent racehorse and a good sire as well. Doug Matheson is the owner, Dunstan Farms. So, again, Nick in the middle here of this 3-horse field with the 2 Pocket of Aces.
they'll get the swing in behind the starting gate here very shortly. There's the rail sitter here. This is J.J. Logan, Corey McPherson training and driving tonight for Perry Burke of Grosse Ile, Quebec, and Jamie McKinley of Clyde River, who's got race 2 in here for this race, but gets a rail sitter right now.
Yep, Perry Burke is the owner, and Perry's had horses here before, raced horses, overnight horses here before, so he's got one here. And J.J. Logan, the Tiro Copley, Image of Dawn, and Corey's on the rail here now. And they're getting close here, Lee. Of course, they started in front of the grandstand here tonight just to give them a little bit more time before they are released.
Yeah, they get some more time behind the gate. You're going to see J.J. Xavier get into the mix here, too, for Brody McPhee and Earl Smith, and David Lund, and as we mentioned, Jamie McKinley and Windermere Farms of North Wiltshire, so they're teaming up. So they'll cruise in behind the Metro Home Building Center starting gate. We'll watch them in action as they get a little more time in behind the wings here tonight, Vance, and but it's been an impressive night for the future stars of racing.
Oh, the babies have absolutely looked superly. Absolutely super. Great gated. They're right on their job. You'd think they've been doing it for a couple of years instead of only being a couple of years old. Here is the final future stars of racing on this Tuesday night at the historic driving park in Charlottetown. On the backstretch and going to the gate, J.J. Logan, Image of Dawn Colt, has Corey McPherson. Pocket of Aces is the 2. That's a Stonebridge Terror Colt for Nick Oakes. And to complete the field from post 3 is J.J. Xavier, a Tobago Cays Colt for Brody McPhee. The final trio on the gate, top of the stretch. Here they come. And away they go. Off and pacing, J.J. Xavier from the outside, pointed to the lead. J.J. Logan into the turn will be second with Pocket of Aces to get away third. So the 2-year-olds move around the turn. They approach the opening 8, and it's J.J. Xavier for Brody McPhee with a sizable lead early. J.J. Logan is second, and back into third. That is Pocket of Aces. Up the backstretch they go, and they're approaching the opening quarter. The Tobago Cays Colt J.J. Xavier loose on the lead. Second along the rail, J.J. Logan, and then the trailer third. Pocket of Aces. The quarter mile was surprising, just 32 and a 1/5. They're arriving at the 3/8 pole with J.J. Xavier the leader. J.J. Logan starts to close in a tad from second, then a gapped-out trailer in third, Pocket of Aces. So the 2-year-olds arrive at the opening half mile, and they are well strung out with a half a mile left to go. J.J. Xavier the leader. J.J. Logan continues second, Pocket of Aces third. The opening half mile in 1:02 and 4. That's a 30-3 second quarter with 3/8 of a mile left to go. J.J. Xavier continues alone on the lead by 5 open. J.J. Logan races from second, trailing the field. That is Pocket of Aces. 3/4 coming next. And J.J. Xavier continues to be alone on the lead. J.J. Logan is second and a distance third. That's Pocket of Aces. 3/4 of a mile in 1:33 and 3. 30 and change in the third. And they're homeward bound now. And it's J.J. Xavier looking to close it out. Second is J.J. Logan with Pocket of Aces third. Landing on the line next, J.J. Xavier for Brody McPhee. Second is J.J. Logan. Pocket of Aces will finish third. Their time for the mile, 2:02 and 1, 28 and 3 closer.
So there's a look at the stretch drive for you in the final of the 2-year-old colts here tonight in the qualifier. JJ Xavier sent right off the wings to the point here tonight by McPhee. And Peter, good closer, 28-3. Look really, really sharp here tonight.
What a combination here tonight of Earl Smith and Brody McPhee. They've won 3 or 4 races here tonight. And wow, this horse looked great, as you said, 32-1, 102-4, really doing it by himself. 133-3, 202-1, 28-3, very brisk on the end of it and looked good all the way. Gate to wire score in here for Brody McPhee and JJ Xavier. Looks like JJ Logan is second and Pocket of Ace is third, but JJ Xavier, dominant winner here. 202-1, as we mentioned, 28-3 on the end of it. We'll see Brody back in the winner's circle in just a moment.
Into the winner's circle from the ninth, JJ Xavier, Bay Pacing Colt 2 by Tobago Cays. Off the Ameripan Gigolo Dam, JJ Mistress, home of David Lund of Moncton, New Brunswick. And the colt bred by Jamie McKinley of Clyde River and Windermere Farms of North Wiltshire. Earl Smith, what a night this conditioner has had for the future stars, and Brody McPhee right alongside him. Big night for the pair. JJ Xavier, 202-1. Here's the official rundown in the ninth. J.J. Logan second, Pocket of Aces third, J.J. Xavier the winner, 32-1, 102-4, 133-3, and the mile 202-1. In review, 2-3-1.
And just a note to the final prize draw tonight from the participants that took place in the Future Stars in the 9th qualifier. And the winner there is the connections of J.J. Logan, so Perry Burke. We have a prize pack for you. We'll get those in the race office. We'll be able to pick them up in a future date.